Hey guys, this is Greg with Honey Does Construction. I'm going to do a quick video here on, I have a Everbuilt shallow well jet pump. This is a half horse. Hopefully you guys can see that good. I made a mistake. I didn't take this off about a month ago. I came up to the property to do some quick work before we brought the new trailers. And I'm not really going to show my face because I didn't do my hair, so I don't look that pretty. But what happened, I got to 29 degrees one morning, and stupid me didn't do anything about it. And come to find out the next day, I actually had some red pop in my old camper, and I'm like, really? So what happened is that this here cracked. There's a slit right here, and it went all the way through. I put a little water in here yesterday. It just slowly dripped out, so that was that problem. And what it was doing was leaking, of course, but it was shooting back onto the mortar and actually shorting out the mortar and tripping the breaker. So I filled up the camper yesterday. It would just run out because it was open line anyhow, so I didn't really have much pressure in there. But she's a good little guy. Our well, this is for 15-foot deep wells. It works fine. I left it at the preset. It goes up to about 65 pounds, and if you're running on one line, like to the trailer here through, I just got the RV water hoses to it, and she'll probably run about, I don't know, 30 pounds, and it's nothing bad on the water pressure. I water the grass and stuff like that. But when we got the property here, real quickie, when we got the property here, the house burned down, and I think it was in '95. So this well's been sitting for 30 years or whatever. And so Ray, kitty corner for me, helped me out. And he gave me a hand crank, so we tested the well. And I had a little bit of water coming out. Well, then I got a good little thing here I would probably do every year or two. It's called New Well, and they're little pellets. Throw them down your well and it breaks up. I guess that thing down on the very bottom is called a point. And it corrodes up, man. It gets like, Ray showed me one from the neighbors here, and it gets like, it's like almost a concrete on it. So back in the day, he told me, he goes, we used to shoot 22 rounds down there, but he goes, duh, lead, so that's not a good idea. But so I knew the point. We already figured out the point was definitely corroded bad, and I got that new well. Dropped a small handful of pellets in there. It says I think 4 or 6 hours. Then I tried it with this hand crank, and water started loosening up a little bit better. I'm like, okay, cool. Did another handful, let it sit overnight, cleaned it out the next day with the well pump, and started getting pretty good water, or not really actually working the well pump at all. So then I ended up putting on this guy. I take this off every year and bring it home and throw it in the basement, so the gaskets and everything don't really have to go through all the winter crap. So what happened, just a couple weeks ago or whatever, a month ago, I got down to 29 degrees and she cracked. And so I got this epoxy crap from True Value across the street here. Put it on there yesterday, so it's been sitting almost 20 hours or so. It's definitely, it got hard in shit in the first hour. But what I was looking for this morning on YouTube was one of these, similar at least. And I forgot which way this seal went back on. So you got a rubber seal here. This does go like this, and that's how it felt when I tore it apart. To take these apart was really simple. I left the housing on to the well. For the third time, I don't see a reason for me to take that part off. But all it was is 4 screws. They came out easy. To disassemble this, if you have one like this, or pretty much all of them are like the same as I've been seeing, is that I just take my flat bar and a screwdriver and just easy does it. She'll pop right off and disconnect. All you got to do is hold a screwdriver, regular screwdriver back here on the mortar end, and then I think it was a 1/2 inch nut was on here. Sorry, got a cotter key, don't lose that. The parts in here are pretty simple. There's a nut, this, and then there's a key right here, and then the seal, and then this part right here, and there's a rubber gasket going around here. Now what I always do, taking anything like this apart, I'll put dish soap on it. You can do a lot of things, but dish soap actually keeps the gaskets from decaying. Learned that from on my old boat. Old man told me to do my impellers every year. When I winterize it, he goes, dump in dish soap. And so I always did it on my boat. Never had a problem with my impellers. But so this goes on there, like that. That nut goes on there. So hold your screwdriver back here, pop your nut off. And like I said, there's only 4 bolts to the housing. Pry it, it pops out pretty easy-ish. Then pull that off. Now you're down to this. The only seals in here is this one and this one. Then why I'm making this video is because if anybody made a boo-boo like me, this is only a year and a half old, but I didn't know which way I took this off. One side has you can see there's like a black rubber gasket right here inside there. On the other side, it's like I guess it's a ceramic or porcelain type. I figured it was the other way, that the rubber goes against the housing here, the brass, because water doesn't, you can't seal water or metal on metal to a point. So I actually put it on wrong, went up there, hooked it up, and as I'm pouring the water to prime it, it just started pouring out. I'm like, okay. So go back to the drawing table here, tore it apart. That's why I left the housing on there. I'm like, I'm done with that. But so I just flipped this around, and now it's doing like it was doing yesterday. I did put this garment in the freezer. One little trick, like guys who work on springs, those big old rubber bushings that you have on your springs. Actually, right on my camper, they'll freeze them for like 45 minutes or an hour, because being in the freezer, it expand it just a hair. Well, I did that last night. I threw that in there, put it back on there, and it did help to slide it on there a little bit. So I mean, you just need that just a little bit so you don't ruin your gasket. So anytime you're running something like needs to be tight like this, freeze it for a little bit, and that'll expand it, and then put it on there. So right now I figured out, flip this around, so that's what I just did. Now I'm going to put this back on. This gasket was fine, didn't get hurt with the freezing up. I guess that's about it. So I'm going to run this back on here. Oop. Boy, I tell you what, woke up at 51 degrees. An hour later it's 60 something, and that sun is frying my back right now. We're in Michigan. I don't know, May 18th or something, I don't know what it is. 2021. So I snug that up. Don't over tighten anything unless it absolutely needs it. And you just stick a screwdriver in here at the flat spot on the shaft. Oh, hang on, you're going to see my hair. Okay, that be that. Alright, I forgot I popped the breaker, because what happened when it did leak, it shot water into the electrical components and popped the GFI. So everything looks fine. I got a little water here, but I didn't tighten this down yet. Let's see. It says we got what, 30 pounds? Alrighty. So like I said, it was pretty easy. 4 bolts, and then there's only 2 seals in there, and pretty much that's it to these things. So all it was, I cracked the back plate, just a hairline fracture, but then it pissed out all over the electrical and all that good stuff. I say I gotta tighten this up a little bit. So looks like I got it. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps you guys if you tear apart this kind of pump, because nobody else has one out there. So, alright, thank you.